Hey everybody, this is Danette from Unlock the Constitution, and I wanted to start a discussion series, if the Lord wills, on the relationship between the HOA and Americans' rights. And I know a lot of us live in these type of communities. I'm here in Florida, I have people from all around the country, and I read more and more problems, encroachments of rights. I read stories of a grandma was forced to take out her garden because the new president said you no longer have permission. And it baffles me. But we all live in this society where we have not been taught our rights. And I want to start the discussion today on our rights. We've not been taught them. I mean, don't you feel like there's something missing? That they say Americans, we have all political power, but where is it? So I want to start this by reading a notice that I have, because I'm going to be going before the board in about a week or so, and I'm going to be telling them what's what. I don't know if people in my community are ready to hear that yet. So that's why I'm saying this is going to be more for the long haul, more as an educational opportunity for all of us. And I'm also hoping that we can come together, hopefully using this platform if you wish. I have a lot of ideas and resources that I really love to share with you, and so that we can all, as a group, begin to remember who we are as Americans. Because let me ask you something. How do you feel about the way your government leaders treat you? That in itself is that question. They're not our leaders. They're our servants. Have you ever been taught that? Have your kids been taught that? Were your parents taught that? Our state constitutions are where our powers come from. And I'd like to just read you, I'm going to have that lovely 3 minutes that they give you at these board meetings. And I'm going to just share, I'm just going to go ahead and read this. Despite what you may have been taught, we're not a democracy. We are a constitutional republic. In a democracy, your rights can be voted away. In a constitutional republic, you cannot vote away another American's God-given inherent rights. Here are some samples of the people's authority found in different constitutions around the states. And yes, we have 51 constitutions, one fed, and one for each of our 50 states. And that's where our inherent rights. I would encourage you to go to Ballotpedia, 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 and then you would put in your state's constitution or your bills of rights or declarations of rights and start reading it there. It changes your life. All political power is inherent in the people. The enunciation herein of certain rights shall not be construed to deny or impair others retained by the people. All natural persons, female and male alike, are equal before the law and have inalienable rights, among which are the right to enjoy and defend life and property, to pursue happiness, to be rewarded for industry, and to acquire, possess, and protect property. No person shall be deprived of any right because of race, religion, national origin, or physical disability. The people shall have the right to peaceably to assemble, to instruct their representatives, and to petition for redress of grievances. Now, when have we ever been taught that we teach the legislature? We teach any elected official because the people, us, we have all political power. No bill of attainder or ex post facto law or law impairing the obligation of contracts shall be passed. Every natural person has the right to be let alone and free from government intrusion into the person's private life. Here's another one that relates directly to board meetings, as my particular board has chosen to close their meetings off to the community, and which creates what we call a danger of maladministration, bad administration. When they can get together as a group, you know that the more government is allowed to meet in secret, the more tyranny there is. And the people express their power by coming together lawfully and peaceably and instructing them and saying, nope, You can't do that. You can't take away my rights. You didn't grant them to me. God did. And you cannot take them away, or what they would call abrogate them. It says absolute and arbitrary power over the lives, liberty, and property of free men exists nowhere in a republic, not even in the largest majority. All government of right originates with the people. It is founded on their will only. Public officers are trustees and servants of the people, and at all times amenable to them. I've lived in this community I live in for over 10 years, and I have a permanent disability and a very serious health condition. I'm growing plants as God said to do in His Word in the Bible for healing. And they decided to tell me I could no longer have my garden. I had to remove it, and I could have 4 plants in my carport. And this abrogates my right to grow food, to have privacy, to seek God's wisdom for my own physical healing. And this is my guaranteed First Amendment right of my freedom of religious expression. I was threatened to remove my garden on the side of my house. They didn't like that it was elevated. I have a disability and I have severe pain in my spine and my hip. There is no mention in that CCR of either of those issues about having a raised bed or having plants in my carport. And many times I think what we're experiencing a lot is they have an ex post facto rule. You've had this for 10 years and all of a sudden they say, oh, we're making a new rule and now you can't do this anymore. And we have a Supreme Court case called Miranda versus Arizona from the 60s. It's where reading someone their rights originally was coming from. And it clearly states where constitutional rights are concerned, no rulemaking or legislation can abrogate it. You know, I just want to stop here and say there's a lot of information. There's a lot of things that just came out and that we are reading about. And I would encourage you to go to Ballotpedia. Take a look at your state's constitution and read it. Start learning it. I didn't want to do it when we first started. I thought, oh, it's a lot of reading and I have to study. But it really changes you. You really know who you are as an American. And you can start to really see where people encroach. And we've seen it for years. Who got to decide who was essential and who wasn't? When you think about that, we're all essential. We're all Americans. So I also would like to encourage you to, it's on a Rumble channel. He's a wonderful Christian law fighter. His name is Dave Jose. And his Rumble channel is Dave Cares for You. He used to have a YouTube channel, but somebody didn't like him telling the truth. We know what happens with that. But he's on Rumble. He's also on Twitter. But I would encourage you to check out his Rumble channel. He teaches so amazingly well. I would highly recommend it. So that's all I'm going to say for today. I welcome you. I welcome questions and discussion. And I'm looking forward to us starting to straighten this whole mess out. As I said, we're going to roll up our sleeves. We're going to start digging and remembering who we are as God's children and Americans. Thanks a lot, everybody. I'll see you soon.